The price of Bitcoin is doing something quite interesting, and I still think there is a bit more room to drop, but I'm still bullish in the medium term. Let's have a look, because the fact that Bitcoin gave us this extended push down, it's actually giving us quite a lot of information. Let's do a really quick recap. When we were exactly here, I was personally looking for longs, okay? Because we had two different time frame fair value gaps. They were all sitting there. We had an exponential moving average, this, that, the other. And at the end of the day, we were in a range, okay? This was the range in which we were in and in which we are currently still in. I personally thought we broke out, came back down, and in this area, it was exactly where I was waiting for the price to give us the price that we were waiting for, okay? We haven't seen that. We've actually seen weakness and we've started pushing back down, okay? So actually, this is making it very easy for us. We've basically got just two simple lines or two things that we need to have on our charts. And it's as simple as this, okay? We are on a range. Full stop. There's no... We've had a bit of a fake out up, grabbing some liquidity, okay? How is the liquidity created? Well, people go short and place their stop loss just above the recent highs. And the price went up above these recent highs and grabbed some liquidity. Which liquidity has not been grabbed yet? This one, this one, this one, and even this one. Why? Because every single one of these was higher lows each time. Okay, this means that there was more liquidity here, more liquidity here, more liquidity here, and even more liquidity here. Okay? Therefore, how do we treat this? How should we use this? I personally think this can be used as a range, okay? I still think, if we zoom out, if we go on the daily time frame, I still think we can get a push up to this daily fair value gap, okay? This is a fair value gap. I'm actually planning on making a specific video where I just speak about fair value gaps, why they're useful and why I personally use them. Which is also conveniently a 0.5 level of this whole push down, okay? And also conveniently, it's also going to land with a volume profile level, okay? This is quite a high volume node, which lands with just going above this recent high, this, that, the other, okay? So looking at the bigger time frames, daily time frame, for example, I'm still looking for something like this. I can, at least today, Friday, 17th of July, I still think the price is likely to come up here, 69, 70,000, okay, to then get more of an aggressive push down. That's what I'm thinking. Now, if I was just a swing trader, I would personally probably still wait, just hold it and that's it. But because I'm a short-term trader and because you probably also are a short-term trader, we're both watching this video, okay? Well, you are watching it and I'm making it. So let's drop down the time frames, okay? Let's break this all down and let me tell you what I'm looking for, what I'm not looking for. Another thing that we can do now, okay, is trace a Fibonacci retracement from this whole push up that we've had from the very, very bottom to the very, very top, to the very, very peak. What are we going to see? Well, like I told you, we've grabbed some liquidity from the people that were going short. Okay, we've gone above the recent highs. Not necessarily everything is lost. Okay, I do still think the price could just be wasting some more time before we get this other push up, which I do still think at least today it is still doable. What I do think it is due now is a liquidity grab like we've had here, but for the longs. So what would this look like? We've got a 0.5 level, which is looking exactly below this low, exactly on this low, and basically exactly on this low. Okay, so what could my plan be? If we get another push down, which I personally think we could be getting another push down around this area, which is of 61,500, I would be looking for a long. Okay, now there are two options. You could either wait for the price to give you that wick down and then up, and then you could go long, or you could average out a trade. Average out a trade, how? Well, we had a little accumulation range right there, okay, in which the price went again into a little range in which market makers, hedge funds, the people that manipulate the markets were stocking up on long positions. This was the top side of this range, okay, which actually lands very nicely with our 0.618 level. Therefore, what could the first plan be? You could either wait for the price to go below these lows, grab some liquidity and then get a push back up, and then you would go long. Or what you could do is, let's say that you have got $1,000, or you could go $500 here and then another $500 here. Any more than that, if we lose this, I think that's it. Bye-bye. I don't really think we are going to be getting this massive push back up. Okay, if we lose this 0.618, if we go back inside this range, okay, this would mean that these market makers, okay, these people that were going long, these people that spent a little while making the price go inside a range so that they could load up their long positions, if they allow the price to go back inside this area here, this means that they no longer have any more positions to defend, to protect. Okay, I've said this in quite a few videos now because I think it's extremely important, and I think I'm actually going to make a whole video just speaking about this concept because I think it's extremely fundamental. Is that if you've got the chance, if you've got the opportunity to manipulate the markets exactly how you want it to, if you're going long, okay, if you're going long with 100 million or 10 million on Bitcoin, and you see that the price is threatening to come back down and you're now in a loss, okay, if you had the ability to manipulate the markets, would you not come to the rescue of your own position and push the price back up? Well, obviously the answer is yes. You would do everything you can so that you don't lose money. When, under what circumstances would you allow the price to get another massive push back down? Or under what circumstances would you allow the price to go back inside the area in which you started looking for longs? If you've got nothing left to defend. If you do not hold these long positions anymore, then that basically means you don't really care if the price goes down. Simple, isn't it? Well, following that, okay, this is why if we lose the 0.618 of 60,600, I wouldn't be so bullish anymore. Let me just delete some stuff because it's getting really messy. Let's just trace what we need and what we don't need. That's the Fibonacci right there. This is the top side of the range, which is matching very nicely with the 0.618. And then now we're just going to trace a fixed range volume profile. Okay. We're going to see something quite important. First off, right now, we are trading at the point of control. Okay, if this gets lost, that's why we could be aiming target number one, target number two, which would also conveniently land with the value area low. Okay, which is this white line that you can see right there, which is coming along basically on the 0.618 level. Okay, cool, nice. Let's turn on our indicators now. Okay, why? Because it's just going to make my analysis a lot easier. Please do remember you do have access to these completely for free, at least at the time of me making these videos. You have got a link in the descriptions box in which once you click it, you can just message our support team and tell them you want access to these indicators. You will also get access to a completely free course, which I have made, which covers basically every single thing that I know when it comes to trading, about fair value gaps, about Fibonacci's, about how you can trade a sideways range, about why an exponential moving average was the thing that gave us away that we are in a sideways range. Okay, things like that, things about liquidity, how to trade it, where, when, and why, and a bunch more things. Okay, so what can we see? Let me just go on the daily time frame. Actually, no, let me just go on the 4 hourly time frame, and I'm going to turn on the multi-time frame fair value gaps so that I can see the daily gaps. Okay, this is still what I'm thinking. Okay, I do still think we can go up here where we have a 4-hour gap inside a daily gap above this recent high on the 0.5 level, as well as on a point of control. Okay, my arrow, at least for today, I still think we can get this push up. But on the short term, I am saying that we could get a bit more of a push down to the bottom side of this range in which we are currently in. For that, let's zoom back in. Okay, first off, worth noting, those two divergences that we got on Bitcoin were absolutely amazing. They were really good trades, really good trades. I think I also did mention on my little course how these signals work especially good when you're in a sideways range. We are in a sideways range, therefore they worked really good. Okay. Additionally, we've also got an order block right there and a 1 hourly fair value gap, which is very important to note. It's virgin. Okay, no, I'm not being a weirdo. It's a fair value gap that was created here. Okay, this green rectangle that you can see right there, and it hasn't been touched yet. A fair value gap, the more times it is touched, the more times it is weakened, basically. An order block that hasn't been touched, a fair value gap that hasn't been touched, is going to be the strongest it's ever been. The more points of contact that an order block has, like this one, for example, okay, we had an order block created right there, which you can see that's not straight, but you know, it's this one there. We got the first contact, great reaction. Second contact, great reaction. We didn't get a contact now. I personally probably wouldn't trade this one just on its own. Okay, if I just looked purely at order blocks and nothing else, the fact that it's already been touched so many times is not making me feel the safest. Okay, therefore this 1 hourly gap, I am giving it a bit more weight, a bit more importance, a bit more significance. It's also very conveniently landing on the 0.618 level on the top side of this range, as well as below every single one of these lows. Okay, this is at 60,500. That's my plan for Bitcoin. That's what I think is going to happen. Let's have a really quick look at Ethereum. Okay, this was basically what I said in the other video, in not yesterday's, the days before. I was waiting for Bitcoin for Ethereum at 1,830. We've gone slightly below that, but we can just apply the exact same thing. Okay, if we now just trace a very similar thing, we've been on a sideways range, just like this. We can see the price is starting to threaten to go back inside. Okay, so what are we going to do? We're just going to apply a very similar logic. I'm just going to trace another Fibonacci retracement from this whole massive push up. Okay, and I'm also going to trace a fixed range volume profile of this range, okay, to see where within this range the highest transactional volumes are going to be. We can see that the 0.618 lands basically in the exact same area as this white line, What is this white line? It's the value area high. Now, I'm not as certain, I'm not as clear, I'm not as happy with Ethereum as I am with Bitcoin. I do have to say, okay? So if I did take a trade on Ethereum, I probably wouldn't hold it for so much. What would I do? I would probably go long just like this. Not a crazy stop loss. We usually recommend 2% when you're trading Bitcoin and Ethereum. For different coins it's a lot more, but for Bitcoin and Ethereum. And then we could use this 1 hourly fair value gap as some sort of support. Let's have a really quick look if we've got a 4-hour gap to back it as well. That would be lovely. If we had a 4 hourly gap there, it would be amazing. We don't, okay, which is not great. But if I did take a trade here with the value area high, going slightly back inside this range and on the 0.618 level, if the price gives me 1.5, even 2% profit, I would personally say close 75% or even 50% of your position and move your stop loss to break-even price so that you're no longer at risk, okay? I do find that Ethereum is at a bit more risk. Why? Because if we're waiting for Bitcoin to get more of a push down, okay, if we're saying that Bitcoin could potentially get a bit more of an aggressive push down below these levels and potentially could even go a bit lower, Ethereum's a lot more volatile than Bitcoin. Therefore, if it really wanted to, we could get an even more aggressive push down to this order block, okay? Now, another final thing also worth noting, on my Bitcoin trades, I tend to put a lot more money in than on any other coin. It doesn't matter if it's XRP, it doesn't matter if it's Ethereum. When I'm trading Bitcoin, I tend to put more money in. Okay, so for this concept is the exact same thing. This is a lot more of a high risk trade. Okay, I also do want to point out that was absolutely disgusting. A 7% move from a money flow divergence, which our smart oscillator gave you. Okay, you even got an RSI divergence as well. So having said that, I'm just going to leave the video here. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you leave a like, make sure you also subscribe, and make sure you let me know if you've got any doubts, any questions or any issues when it comes to my analysis or with trading. Don't tell me about your personal problems. I'm not your therapist. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon. Bye bye.